This is the beautiful Raarangi Department of Conservation campsite. It is located at the top of the South Island on the east. If you're from New Zealand, you would know that Raarangi translates to the place where the sun rises, because Te Rā is the Maori sun god and Rangi is the sky god. So a name like Raarangi translates to the place where the sun rises into the sky, which makes sense because this is on the east side of the South Island. So it's a beautiful location. You will hear a lot of wind in the background of my videos, and that's because the South Island is very windy. The South Island is in the roaring 40s wind zone, and it's just windy all the time, even in summer when I stayed. The price when I stayed in summer this year, I stayed in January this year, and the price was $10 per adult or $5 per child. So if you're a couple, you're looking at $20 per night, which is quite expensive, I think, because they do supply flushing toilets, so you've got cold water available there in the sinks, and you've got cold showers available as well. So I'll show a video of the cold shower that you're allowed to use for free. But what really bothered me about this place is they don't actually have any water taps available. Normally, if you're paying $10 per night per adult, you'd expect them to at least supply a fresh water tap that I could fill up my water containers in and top up my RV so that I could have warm showers in my own RV. But they actually don't supply you with any water taps at all, so I had to fill up my kettle and drinking water containers. I had to fill them up using the sink that's there for the toilets. That's all they've got available. There's no kitchen area available at all. There's no kitchenette, so I'll show a video of that shortly. All they've got is just bench tops, but there's no cold water kitchen sink available at all. So as I said, some people find that to be quite expensive for $10 per person per night, when they don't actually supply any water taps that you can use to fill up your RV, and no kitchen sink either. Something else you need to be aware of is that from next month they are actually putting their prices up, so the prices are going to go up to $15 per night per adult, so that means it'll be $30 for a couple, and children are going up to $7.50 per night per child as well. I had a hard time trying to find the maximum number of nights you're allowed to stay. I think that it's 7 nights is your maximum number of nights, because when I booked it online, you can only choose between 1 and 7 nights. You have to book in advance, and of course you would want to book in advance any time that you're staying in a campsite in summertime in the South Island. One complaint I hear from people is about how you have to book online, and some people, they don't like the online website, so I'll actually just show you that quickly before I show the rest of my campsite videos. What you want to do is, if you go onto Google like I have here, you can type in Raarangi campsite, and the first entry that comes up will be Department of Conservation, and so if you click on that, it will take you through to the Department of Conservation website, and you will land on the Raarangi campsite page. There is a large orange button right there, book online, so go to that large orange button, and that's what you want to click on, so book online, and then you will see the Raarangi campsite as your option there, and it also shows you that you've got some options. You can choose to book a hard surface for camper vans and caravans, or you can choose the grassed surface, or you can choose a tent site as well, so it's up to you which of those you want to choose, and it will tell you whether it's available or not. After choosing the date and the length of stay, you can search, and it will take you through to this site, which shows you the number of sites that are still available. So you'll see that the number there, and that will tell you how many are still available. And from here you have to enter in your email address and create a password. So if you're a new customer for Department of Conservation, you'll need to sign up for Department of Conservation, but otherwise you just put your email address and password that you chose from last time. The check-in time, you can check in any time between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. So they don't want people arriving before 2 p.m. because it doesn't give the morning people enough time to leave, and they don't want people checking in after 8 p.m. It's really annoying for people when vans show up at 10 o'clock at night, say, and then they show up and their engine's making a racket and the doors are sliding and annoying everybody. So they don't want that. So there's a strict rule that you're not allowed to arrive after 8 p.m. So if you are travelling from, say, the Picton ferry, then don't leave it to the last minute. Don't think that you can just book the midnight ferry and then just show up and stay here. That's not allowed. You can only check in between 2 and 8 p.m. And there actually is a custodian on site. There's a person in a caravan who lives here, and they will check to make sure that you are behaving and following the rules. So don't go trying to just sneak in at midnight and think that no one's going to notice, because they will. So there is a custodian on site. Checkout is 10 a.m, which is standard across New Zealand. Campsites are normally 10 a.m. checkout. And then it says they're allowed to stay 1 to 7 nights, so I think that 7 nights is your maximum. But as I said, it's not the cheapest campsite that I've stayed in, given that you don't get any power and there's no dump station here at all, and there's only cold showers available, and you can't even fill up your RV water tank either. So I only stayed 2 nights. I wouldn't stay more than that. The other thing you will find with this place is internet is actually really awful out here. If you're from the South Island like I am, you will know that the internet is pretty horrendous in many of the remote sites around New Zealand, and this is one where the internet is quite slow. Something else you need to be aware of as well is that this is a pack-in, pack-out campsite as well. So in New Zealand, when we say pack-in, pack-out, that means that there are no rubbish bins available at all. So no rubbish bins, no recycling. So you must bring your own rubbish bags and any rubbish that you have, and that includes biodegradable waste like banana skins and things like that. All of it has to be taken away with you, so there are no rubbish bins out here at all. The actual location is beautiful. I think it's just fantastic. You can go for walks along the beach and see all of this beautiful driftwood everywhere. This is what the bathroom looks like. This is the handicapped bathroom. So they've got a sink available and a toilet, and that's what the cold shower looks like there. They've got these handy spaces here on hard standing for buses. The idea is that it's reserved for buses, so people with really long vehicles or giant caravans, that space is actually reserved for them so that they can have somewhere to park up. Because if you look at the actual campsite, you will see it's sort of a funny shape. My caravan's only medium size, so I had no trouble finding a space. But if you have a long bus, it can be quite difficult to actually find a space. So those long, hard-standing spaces there that are fenced off, those are for the buses. So if you do stay here, don't go just showing up and thinking that you can take those. Those are meant for the buses, not just someone in a tiny little tourist van. And as I was saying, those are the kitchen benches that they supply so that you can chop up vegetables, and if you've got one of those portable gas stoves because you're staying in a tent, you can put your portable gas stove on top of there and do your cooking. But as I said, there's no kitchen sink at all, which was a bit annoying because there's just nowhere for you to do your dishes. I don't know how you're expected to do your dishes there, because why bother cooking if you can't actually sort of clean up afterwards? All they've got is just the little hand basin there to wash your hands after going to the bathroom. So yeah, as I said, it's very, very beautiful, but I wouldn't want to stay longer than 2 nights, just given the difficulty with filling up your RV with water, and the fact that the internet's bad, and the fact that the price is going up to $15 a night per person. But otherwise, definitely worth staying for a night or 2 on your way through. I'd highly encourage it just for the beauty of the place, but yeah, it is expensive, so just be aware of that. Happy camping. Bye.